TJ, thanks for coming in. I know you're not really excited to be here, but one thing I would like to ask you to start is if our time together went well, and I know part of what we're going to talk about today has to do with anger and aggression and those kinds of things. So if our time went really well and it was like helpful and or at least a nice time between the two of us, what would we have accomplished?
It might have helped you more than me.
Okay. So maybe if it goes well, I will have benefited.
By understanding me more.
Okay. So I will get a chance to understand you a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay. I would love to understand you a little bit more. And one of the things I know is that you have had some anger kinds of issues in your past. And so if it's okay, I would like to ask some questions about that.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of the things I guess I'd like to start with is that when was the last time you got in a fight?
A couple months ago.
Okay. A couple months ago. What happened? You started? Somebody else started?
I definitely provoked it.
Okay. What did you do to provoke it?
I got drunk.
Okay. So about 2 months ago, you got yourself drunk and you got in a fight?
With my cousin.
With your cousin. You guys hurt each other at all, or?
Only a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't really let it show.
Okay. So not a lot of destructiveness in the fight?
Well, there was, but didn't let it bring us down.
Okay. Punches or weapons or?
No weapons.
No weapons?
No.
Have you ever used a weapon in a fight?
Once.
Okay. What did you use?
Just wood.
Piece of wood. Okay.
That was a little bit younger.
Okay. So generally speaking, when you get in fights, you don't use weapons.
Why would you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Tell me why you would not.
Well, I think to me that just shows how weak the person is.
Okay.
You know, if they can't use their hands, not really that strong.
Okay. So a couple months ago, you got drunk. You got in a fight with your cousin. No real bad outcome.
No.
Neither of you injured very badly. In the past, you have used some. You've used a piece of wood, but generally speaking, your philosophy, your value is that's kind of a weak thing to do.
Right.
You should just use your hands. When I asked you the worst you'd been hurt, you said physically, which makes me wonder if maybe the physical injury is one thing, but that maybe there have been times when you've had an emotional injury that might be pretty significant too.
Yeah. More than once.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For example?
Fights with family that don't fully escalate physically, but kind of break you down.
Yeah. So you've had some fights with your family that have been emotionally pretty painful. Maybe lasting emotional effects, not so much physical, but... Okay. And when I hear you say that, it sounds like one of the costs of that is you feel some regret. Is that, if I got that right, or is it something else?
Not completely. More like sympathy.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I think emotions are a weakness.
Uh-huh.
And if I have emotions that make me vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
when people feel sympathetic of it,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't help me at all.
Okay. So it is painful to you emotionally to be seen as having a weakness. And so when your family or people have some sympathy for you, that actually is something you don't like.
No.
No.
No, because it's like they feel like they have to do something to make you feel better,
Mm-hmm.
to get you out of it. But
Okay. I've heard you use the word weakness at least 3 times.
yep.
And sometimes when we talk about anger and anger management stuff, one of the things that we do is we talk about, well, what are the triggers or the buttons that get pushed that bring that anger up? And it makes me wonder if maybe one of the buttons or the triggers for you is a sense of feeling weak. Would you say that that might make you pretty pissed sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah. What if you were completely limited and you couldn't be physically strong, okay? What other quality would you want in order to feel good about yourself? Because I hear you saying being strong is very, very important. Now, what if that was eliminated and you had to pick the second most important thing that you could have as a quality to feel good about TJ?
Social skills.
Okay. So having some social skills, some good social skills might... And for you, what's a good social skill? What would that look like?
I think tolerance,
Hmm.
first having the ability to just be around multiple different types of people and not get irritated or agitated or uncomfortable, but actually help them,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. It sounds like what you're saying is that you don't like weakness, but in one way you could be strong instead of being physically strong is to be more tolerant and accepting of other people.
Supportive.
More supportive, more helpful. I guess you used the word helpful too.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me some examples, if you can, of, let's say, 2 years have passed, and now you are a tolerant and helpful person. What would that look like if I was a mouse in the corner or had you on a video camera being strong in the sense of being helpful and tolerant? What would I see you doing?
In just 2 years?
Yeah.
Motivational speaker.
Okay.
Going to jails or job corps or mental health places.
Mm-hmm.
And just, maybe telling them my story.
Yeah.
How I got out of it and did better and giving back.
Yeah. What would you tell them? Well, how did you get out of it?
By asking for help, looking for it, actively trying to,
Mm-hmm.
turn my life around.
Hmm.
And the things that worked for me, give to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool if you can take a skill that you have and give it to somebody else and watch them use it and it work.
Mm-hmm.
That's gold right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would feel very good to you.
Yeah.
That would kind of make you feel, in some ways, strong
Yeah.
and good about yourself. Okay. Some people say asking for help is a weakness. So I hear you saying, though, that you, in 2 years, motivational speaker, you're giving the message to people in jails or Job Corps or other places that, in fact, asking for help was one of the ways that you turned your life around.
Yeah.
Tell me about how asking for help is a strength.
To a person that's stubborn, I think not asking for help is a strength, but to everyone else, it's a sign of weakness, but you kind of have to, break the walls down a little bit, and
Mm-hmm.
it can be a strength in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
After someone sees you trying to get that help and stuff, that it turns into a strength. To
Okay.
you, at first, it feels like a weakness, but
So asking for help can feel like a strength or feel like a weakness, depending on the person.
I think to the person, at first, it'll feel like a weakness, but after they realize how much good came from it,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes one of their strengths,
Mm-hmm.
being able to ask for the help.
Okay. And for you, what are the specific ways that you have and will ask for help now and in the future?
How I would ask for help?
Yeah. How you have, how you will.
I think drugs and alcohol might have a lot to do with that question.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not sober, that's really going to affect how I try to find help,
Mm-hmm.
and be too scared to put it down or get out and try and change. But if I stay in a support system or around people that are a positive influence and encourage you to keep going on the path you're on, that
Mm-hmm.
I think just stay in the direction I'm going and not turn back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So one way, I guess, you have asked for help and are continuing to ask for help is by being in a sober community.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe one of the values in that community is we support each other.
Well, yeah.
We help each other. And you like to help other people, probably a little more than you like to get helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.